If you're wondering, why do I keep putting other people first? Why do I struggle to say no? Or why do I feel anxious when someone might be disappointed in me? I want to begin by saying something important. This pattern didn't develop because of who you are, it developed because of what you were adapting to. For many people who grew up in or spent years inside a high control religion, people pleasing wasn't a personality trait. It was a survival skill. And understanding that can change the way you relate to yourself. In high control religious systems, approval is not neutral. Approval is safety. Approval is belonging. It's protection from suspicion, discipline, or exclusion. From early on, you learn, often without being explicitly told, that being agreeable, compliant, and easy to manage is rewarded. You're praised for being submissive, humble, or teachable. You're seen as faithful when you don't challenge, don't question, and don't cause discomfort. Over time, you believe, if I'm liked, I'm safe, and if I'm approved of, I belong. Displeasing people, especially those in positions of authority, isn't just uncomfortable, it carries consequences. Reputations form quickly, doubt is noticed, distance can follow. So you learn to anticipate what's expected of you, and you adjust yourself accordingly. Not because you're manipulative, but because you're human. One of the less obvious costs of this environment is what happens to curiosity. When approval is tied to safety, curiosity becomes risky. Asking genuine questions can be interpreted as a lack of faith, a moral weakness, or a sign of spiritual danger. Doubt isn't treated as a normal part of being human. It's treated as something to be corrected or monitored. Over time, many people stop asking questions altogether, not because they stop thinking, but because thinking openly feels unsafe. Gradually, pleasing others becomes more important than understanding for yourself. The most confusing part is that none of this feels extreme while you're inside it. People pleasing doesn't show up as something you do, it becomes something you are. You soften your reactions, you monitor your tone, you suppress a disagreement, you adapt before anyone asks you to. And because everyone around you is doing the same thing, it feels normal, expected, even virtuous. Those who don't adapt, who question openly or resist, are often labeled as difficult, unspiritual, or unsafe to associate with. So, distance is encouraged and caution is advised. The message becomes clear. Pleasing keeps you in good standing. Not pleasing puts you at risk. And over time, your nervous system learns this pattern very well. When you leave a high control religion, the structure disappears, but the conditioning doesn't. You might notice that you still over-explain yourself, struggle to say no, feel uneasy when someone is disappointed, agree to things that don't sit right with you, second guess your own preferences. And this can be deeply confusing because the original environment is gone. So the question often turns inward. Why am I still doing this? But what you're seeing isn't a flaw. It's a learned safety response, continuing in a new context. Your system is still operating as if approval equals safety, even when the original threat is no longer present. It's important to name this carefully. At this stage, people-pleasing is not primarily a boundary issue, and it's not a confidence issue. It's a safety issue. Before your system learned how to assert itself, it learned how to survive. And survival always comes first. That's why trying to fix people-pleasing too early can feel overwhelming or impossible. Your nervous system still associates displeasing others with rejection, danger, or loss of belonging. That association didn't come from nowhere, it came from lived experience. When you see people-pleasing as a survival strategy rather than a personal failing, the tone of the conversation changes. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" the question becomes, "What was this protecting me from?" In a high control environment, people-pleasing protected you from ostracism, from suspicion, from losing community. It helped you remain connected in a system where disconnection carried real emotional and social cost. That matters. It means your system wasn't broken. It was adaptive. People-pleasing wasn't your personality. It was a way of staying safe in an environment where approval was conditional. Recognizing that doesn't require you to change anything yet. It simply allows you to stop blaming yourself for patterns that once helped you survive. Nothing about this needs to be resolved right now. There's no urgency to become different and no pressure to handle this better. Understanding what happened is enough for now. Take care of yourself.